pressing question to ask you this morning. Have you ever been to a car show? Yes. Who's been to a car show? What cars have you seen that you really enjoyed looking at? No? What? Mustang? Yeah? Do you know what the cars were when you saw them?
They were boring.
They were boring? Okay. Oh, well maybe you saw a 57 Chevy Bel Air, the two-tone pastel paint job that they had. Yeah? Or maybe you saw a 67 Ford Mustang, like the one that was in the picture. That's my dad's car. He bought it when he came back from Vietnam, like a lot of the vets did. Or maybe you saw a 49 Cadillac convertible. All that chrome on there, and those big, wide, white wall tires. Seen those? Well, those cars, trucks, and hot rods, they can be fun to look at, and maybe even dream of driving. I know a few people that would like that. But have you ever talked to any of those people that own those vehicles? They love to tell you how they acquired that car. Say, yeah, Pop got this baby in an old barn. It was about to be torn down. The fenders bent, rusted through. Motor had a cracked head. Litter kittens in the trunk. That's what I've had. Yeah. It just looked as though they had just driven the hell out of it and parked it, and instead of fixing it, they just left it and never looked back. Well, in 2000, I was that car in the barn. I had driven the hell out of my body and mind with no thought of it giving up on me. To put it bluntly, I was a mess. My health had deteriorated, my nursing career was abandoned, my family was coming apart, my husband was feeling betrayed, and I was losing my sanity. I just parked my life at home to give up to whatever the years and fate had in store. Then in 2002, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder after having years of symptoms. My parents' families were filled with people suffering from mostly untreated mental illness and alcoholism. My dad retired from the Army after 20 years when I was a senior in high school. And all the moving around that we did, it was like every 18 months we would be moving. It was just the symptoms that I had were just seen as, because we were moving. I was having mood swings, I was having this isolating behavior, but yet I was trying to fit in each time we got to a new school or a new neighborhood, new trailer park. In my 20s, I sort of, kind of kept it together. But my symptoms finally came to a head after the birth of my daughter. I was 34 years old. In 1998, I realized I was suffering from depression after reading a list of symptoms in the Reader's Digest. Yes, those things do come in handy. My parents had sought psychiatric help, unlike some of my extended family. So I knew there was something that could be done. So I went to a doctor, was given an antidepressant, assigned talk therapy a couple of times a month. But then a couple of years passed, and after being home alone every day and crying for a solid week, my mom called and asked if she and Dad could take me to the hospital. I was hospitalized for 6 days on a locked floor, pronounced a diagnosis of bipolar, given new medication, and then sent home. One day, several months later, I just couldn't take it anymore. The medication was causing me problems. It had to be changed several times. Whatever was being given to me either left me sleepy or forgetful when I wasn't having more life-threatening reactions. I waited until everyone was gone one day, and I poured a full bottle of medication out of my kitchen cabinet, just took it out, poured it into my hand. Got a glass of water, and I looked up to take that fortifying breath before I put those pills in my mouth, and on the refrigerator was a picture my daughter had made. And I saw that and just broke down crying. So then I called the suicide hotline, but the line went dead. So then I called my husband, and he took me back to the hospital. So after some setbacks with some medication and a couple of surgeries, I was able to take a class on dialectical behavior therapy, DBT. Now this particular class was my turning point, because it was through this class that I found that there were other options than just medication and talk therapy that required an insurance to be involved. Our insurance was changing all the time, so I never knew what was going to be covered from year to year. So through this class I learned about things in Eastern thought, and that sent me on a journey that's helped me. I learned how to meditate using CDs. I did yoga and Qigong using VHS tapes. Yes, I still have a VHS player. I saw a holistic practitioner, and they prescribed nutritional supplements to build up my immune system and fix my nutritional deficiencies. Did you know that your gut is like a second brain in helping you feel better emotionally? So getting my digestive system in shape seemed like a good idea. I changed my diet to be gluten-free and caffeine-free. Then to give my mind something to chew on, I joined the Blount County Writers Group. And then later on, Gene Smith and I started the Writers Group here at Foothills. So I began to have some hope. I began to feel better physically, and I felt like I was having a purpose for my life at that point. So after I began coming to Foothills, UU, in 2008, and got to know some of you, I started looking at this particular denomination, the Unitarian Universalist. And one of the first things that drew me in was the first principle, the inherent worth and dignity of every person. And at the time I read this, I realized that I had no trouble applying this to everybody else. But I had trouble applying it to me. I had trouble accepting this statement for myself, because thinking of myself as having worth and value was just so foreign. In my eyes, I was damaged. And broken things didn't have value in the world that I traveled. Where I journeyed with traveling light was a necessity. So when I heard this message being given by people I was coming to care about, I felt hope that the change I was making for myself was a good one. Now remember the car show? Those people that are restoring those cars have to take it apart piece by piece. And then they lovingly, and I'm saying lovingly because this is their baby. They spend time, money, energy on this, and they would fix the broken and bent parts. Now some of those parts, they weren't worth fixing. You just had to get rid of them, because they wouldn't work anymore. And it takes a lot of work and dedication to get ready for a car show. So that's what I had to do with my beliefs and my habits. I was determined to transform my life, though at first I just wanted to not feel the need to die. I did my best every day to work toward that goal of getting better. Of course, in the very beginnings, the best thing I could do was just get out of bed. But the more emotional baggage I dumped, the better I became. The more habits I kicked, the easier it was to be aware of the good that was showing up in my life. One of the big things I did, though, was forgive people. I forgave my parents for not being who I thought I needed. I forgave my siblings for being so needy of me when we were growing up. I forgave my husband for not realizing how sick I was. There were many other people to forgive as well. But I also forgave myself because due to my misperceptions, I believed a lot of stuff that just wasn't true. I believed other people's needs were more important than mine. I believed I had to earn love. I believed I was not worthy of good things. I believed that asking for help was a sign of weakness. I believed I was responsible for other people's feelings. And I also believed if someone had a problem, I was the one to fix it. Now these aren't reasonable beliefs. If your friend told this to you, you'd say it wasn't true. So I had to become my own best friend. So after all of this, I found out it was okay to be the person that I really was. A highly creative person that sees things just a bit differently than many people. One who gets inspiration in the middle of the night to write a story. A person who sometimes forgets to eat or do the laundry when I'm working on a project. But I'm also a person who needs her alone time and who deeply cares for the people and the pain they feel. Not everyone was going to like who I am now. Not everyone's going to want to listen to me. But I knew that if I was true to my mission, this was my mission in this life, if I was true to that, then it was going to be okay. Because I had found my own inherent worth and dignity. Now I wear who I am on my sleeve for all to see. I'm doing what I can to erase stigma in mental health issues. I have been that young girl who felt out of place and alone. I have been that young woman who felt the need to be so independent that asking for help was out of the question. I have been that young mother who was physically overwhelmed and emotionally running on empty. I have been that troubled woman that contemplated suicide and was hospitalized 4 times. I'm a mental illness survivor. And I'm not ashamed to wear that badge. But I'm also a woman who has healed herself when others gave her a lifelong diagnosis. I'm a woman who's went to school online for 7 years to earn a doctorate in metaphysics, a field many find frivolous. And I'm a woman who has a business teaching others how to use these frivolously learned skills, how to find hope and healing for their own lives. I'm a woman who has written a book chronicling her journey when there were those who told her to be silent about her experiences if she wanted to get ahead in this world. I am this woman, and so much more. Now, all of you have a story. Your story may be very different from mine, but it's a story that someone needs to hear. You have had life experiences that I have not had. We all need to hear that story from you. We all need connection in order to keep going in this world. So tell people your story and ask for that story in return. Give each other a chance to voice your thoughts, because we can learn from each other. You may think, why would anybody want to listen to my plain old everyday stuff? One thing I've enjoyed about this congregation is to listen to people talking about their lives. I like our circles of trust for this reason. Talking about our everyday concerns, whether it's taboo or stigmatized or any of those things, is how we make it okay to discuss it. So don't be silenced. Now, at some point in your journey, after you kind of got things together for yourself, you may want to share your story and support a cause in a much larger way. Now, there are plenty of places right here in Blount County and all over East Tennessee. Groups like Good Neighbors, Family Promise, Main Support, like we're supporting today, NAMI, any of those. And there are a lot of small local groups and food pantries. They need people with lived experience to be the heart to be the hands, feet, and most especially the heart of the message that they want to deliver. That there are people who care, and that there is hope in this world. Now, I know many of you maybe feel overwhelmed by the need that you see around you. You may be thinking, gosh, it's all I can do to just get through each day. You know, I mean, being asked to do more? No. No, that's not what I'm asking you. I'm asking you to take care of you. Be your own best friend. Discover your own inherent worth and dignity. You and your loved ones do not have to be that car in the barn just waiting for time and rust to take its toll. When you feel you have got a handle on your life, and you do want to make a difference in other people's lives, this is where you can give back to the degree that you have been given. Because there's no need to give everything, just some. For myself, I joined a local group affiliated with Blunt Memorial Hospital, the Mental Health Awareness Suicide Prevention Alliance. And they have over 80 mental health workers and concerned citizens educating and supporting the people in Blount County. I've also been a suicide prevention trainer in this community, and many of you have given money to me to pay for that training. I'm grateful. I have used my book as a platform to inform people about mental illness, along with the resources in the back of how I got well. I'm now writing another book along with my involvement in advocacy and activism in the community and beyond by using technology-based platforms on the internet. So where in your life do you need hope and change? Do you battle with mental health issues that keep you in a cycle of despair and struggle, rinse and repeat? Does anxiety and worry hold you back where you know you have a calling on your life to engage and advocate? Perhaps you feel overwhelmed with everything that life is throwing at you right now. You may be in need of the refuge portion of this fellowship so that you can face another day in your own personal trenches. Whatever you're going through, at whatever intensity that is showing up in your life, you truly have inherent worth and dignity. Know that you are worthy. Even though that seeing that in the mirror day in and day out may be a challenge for you right now. You are enough. Though the voices in your head and the obstacles in your path may tell you differently. You are mighty. Though you are tired and need support to go at it again tomorrow. Now, I have learned nothing that can't be learned by any other. I have recovered from an illness that can be recovered from by any who dare to find a way and not give up. Your version of a recovered life may look very different from mine. I do not claim to have all the answers, nor do I claim that the way I accomplish these things is the only way. It's never too late to live your best life. If you're still breathing, then by golly, there's still hope for you. These are the things that worked for me, and I only found them through trial and error. Trial and error and a few angels in earth suits helped me on this life's journey. So, here we are. We can rebuild our lives from what's under the hood all the way down to that shiny new paint job where we take it out for a spin. So how will you find hope and change in your life? What will you do to become car show ready?